Hello Internet people of Internet Land, it is I, Man2 here, back with another video. It seems that everybody and their mother is doing a top 10 of the decade list for their passion/obsession, and quite frankly, I want to as well. Anyone who knows me knows my love is movies. I love watching movies, talking movies, going to the movies, and yes, even making movies, even if some of them don't make sense right now. So I decided to pull together a list of my top 10 films of the decade. This decade being the 2000s, the double O's, the aughts or the noughties. However you say it, you know what I mean. First I want to say, I obviously haven't seen every movie this decade, and I haven't seen a lot of the critically acclaimed films this decade, so my list will probably be controversial to some. But bear in mind, these are just opinions. My opinions. If you disagree, then you have every right to. You are not wrong, and I am not wrong. We just have different taste. That's all. No harm, no foul. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Number 10, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, released in 2005. No, it's no Empire Strikes Back. It's not even Return of the Jedi. What it is the closest the prequels have come to capturing the magic of the original films. Yes, there are cheesy moments. Yes, the acting is not that great. Yes, Darth Vader is not as menacing as he once was. But to me, none of that matters when the rest of the film is just so solid. It, unlike The Phantom Menace, has a leg to stand on in terms of how it's put together. Unlike Attack of the Clones, it has some real emotional weight. Not to mention, it has the Yoda vs. Palpatine lightsaber duel, which is one of the most underrated action sequences ever. Here we have the two juggernauts of the Star Wars universe, the Master of all Jedi and the Master of all Sith, duking it out, and hardly anyone talks about it. It's a real shame. And that pretty much sums up how I feel about most people's reaction to this movie. It's a real shame. Number 9, The Incredibles, released in 2004. If The Iron Giant had been released 1 year later, it would be in this spot. Instead, we have Brad Bird's second greatest achievement. But when you're the greatest director currently working in animation, your second best is pretty damn good. There's not much to be said about this one, just one of Pixar's best and really stands up to repeat viewings. If you haven't seen it yet, then you're just a bad person. Number 8, Cloverfield, released in 2008. This is where the real controversy starts for my list. What Cloverfield did, that no other movie this decade did, is bring the giant monster movie back to the domestic front. Or at least it tried to. It's a tightly knit, well-crafted monster flick with an interesting story and some genuine scares. And made in the post-9/11 climate, it has more thematic weight than one will expect. If the Blair Witch Project, which I haven't seen by the way, is an example of horror films brought to the modern era, then Cloverfield is the same with monster movies. Fanboys can moan all they want about not having enough monster, but they're missing the point. The point isn't to have Monster Fest. The point is to make a good movie, which happens to have a 300-foot sea monster as its villain. And it succeeds at that. Number 7, District 9, released in 2009. I love this movie. Simply love this movie. I honestly don't care what the naysayers think. In my eyes, this movie is perfect. The characters, story, messages, and the world it creates are all beautiful and yet unnerving. It asks some tough questions about humanity and what we're capable of in terms of both cruelty and kindness. It paints a picture of a world that is very dark and cynical, very grimy and dirty. It even at times creates a sense of irony through minorities being the biggest supporters of racism. All this while also being a kick-ass, balls-to-the-wall sci-fi action piece that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Great effects, great story, great acting, and a unique blend of documentary style with traditional narrative style all make District 9 an easy pick for my number 7. Number 6, The Host, released in 2006. Another monster flick. I got a few of those on here. But this one is quite different. It's not really trying to say much of anything. It's not all that groundbreaking. It's just really, really well made. It's a classical monster movie with a strong human story, good acting, and solid effects. Just further proof that Asia has a much better grip on giant monsters than we do. Number 5, King Kong, released in 2005. I'll get the elephant out of the room and now and just say, I don't care about the length. I kind of like longer movies. They let me spend more time in the movie's world, more time with the characters, and more time to let the story develop. That said, I also think there are bits of this that could be cut, just to make it more accessible to Joe Schmo moviegoer. Putting the length aside for a minute, we can see the real reason this movie succeeds. This is how you remake a classic. Change enough to make it enjoyable for fans of the original, but keep enough the same so that newbies can get the relatively same story and experience. And if you can do all that while maintaining a good grip on your effects, actors, and storytelling, then you have a Class A remake on your hands. Number 4, Coraline, released in 2009. As much as I love Fantastic Mr. Fox, I feel Coraline is a bigger achievement in the long run. I also find it ironic that it took on not Tim Burton to recapture the magic of 1990s Tim Burton. Beautifully shot and animated, smartly written, and with some really stellar voice acting, Coraline is arguably one of the best animated films of all time. Plus, how can you go wrong with Keith David? Number 3, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, released in 2001. How could there not be a Godzilla movie on my list? Seriously though, this is as good as it gets for the Millennium series. A very, very Japanese movie with top-notch effects of its kind, solid acting, and a very good story that perfectly blends science fiction with fantasy. Not only that, but it's the first film since the original, really, to do something new and interesting with the character of Godzilla. Making him the embodiment of the angry soul of Japan's war dead was a both unique and befitting move for director Shusuke Kaneko, and proves that there is still life left in the old radioactive dinosaur. Number 2, Futurama, Bender's Game, released in 2008. Yeah, maybe it's cheating to include a direct-to-video release, but by damn it, I love this little flick. By far, the best of the 4 Futurama movies, and honestly, the best comedy of this decade for me. An absolute riot from start to finish, along with an actual story and some nice character moments. There's no way I can properly explain everything that's awesome and hilarious about this movie without doing a commentary, so I'll just say go watch it. Now, the Hypnotoad commands you. And my number 1 top favorite movie of the decade is The Dark Knight, released in 2008. Yeah, I went with the most obvious choice ever. So sue me. It's great. Really. What can I say that hasn't already been said? It's a comic book movie. It's a crime drama. It's a detective story. It's a psychological character study. It's the story of a noble politician's fall from grace. It's the story of a madman on the loose. It's deep, profound, it's smart, it's gripping. It's all of these things. And it's all of these things while also being a mainstream summer blockbuster with the honor of 3rd highest grossing movie of all time. When I first saw The Dark Knight, I literally could not move for about 5 seconds after it was over. And I couldn't think about things properly until at least 30 minutes after it was over. I had my mind blown. Plain and simple. Not just the best movie of the decade, but one of the best films of all time. You can have your hard-ons for No Country for Old Men and Slumdog Millionaire all you want, but when push comes to shove, there's only The Dark Knight. So those are my top 10 films of the decade. It's probably gonna change over time, this list, as I see more movies and rewatch a couple of them that I haven't seen in a while. But as it stands right now, these are the movies I enjoyed the most this decade. And I'm rather proud of this list. I agree. I can't help but love the movies that I put on here. And chances are not a whole lot's going to change if it does change. But thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, I am Zim, Man 2.